As the Rascal Flats say, life is a highway. As we drive through life, it is not always perfectly smooth. Often we encounter bumps in the road, potholes, or traffic. The stretch of life's highway that I was driving for most of my council term had heavy road work, making it difficult to move forward on the road. However, as the song also says, life's like a road that you travel on, where there's one day here and the next day gone. As time never stops moving, we are inevitably faced with good and bad times. I chose to make the most out of each experience and see the opportunity in every change of plans. I've had the mentality of enjoying each moment for many years, but this year solidified this idea in my head wholeheartedly. In 2019, at each 4-H event and milestone, I worked my hardest, played my hardest, laughed my hardest, and cried my hardest. As my 4-H age was only 17 last year, I wondered to myself, why am I so totally enthralled in all of these events? After all, I'd be getting these same experiences next year, right? Of course, nobody could have predicted that I actually would not have these same opportunities the next year. But looking back, I have no regrets on how I enjoyed every moment. Like the song says, sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the wind. Now that this year was my final year in 4-H, and even though it looked very different than I had originally planned, I chose to keep this same positive attitude. We won't hesitate to break down the garden gate. There's not much time left today. With every challenge that presented itself, I challenged myself to see it as an opportunity. I did not have less opportunities this year. I had different kinds of opportunities. It would have been easy for me to slip into a negative headspace, but I drove myself to see the bright side in every hurdle. 4-H has taught me to have the strength to overcome anything I set my mind to. I've been a 4-H'er for 8 years, and in those 8 very short years, I've learned so much about myself and the world. I would not be in 4-H without my little sister Jess and my parents Jim and Jackie. By seeing the positive and making the most of every situation, I've been able to overcome the challenges that my incredible council and I were faced with. As the Rascal Flats say, there's no load I can't hold. A road so rough, this I know, I'll be there when the light comes in. Tell 'em we're survivors. My council and I made the most of this year through insurmountable difficulties, and I've learned that life is a highway and I want to drive it all night long.